Thanks so much for joining us for episode 35 of the Long Comics Book Club, a bi-weekly podcast about long comics, also known as manga and graphic novels. My name is Shane, and I'm the older brother. I'm joined by Spence, the younger brother. Spence, would you want Halloween to last a whole year? You like Halloween.
Yeah, I do love Halloween. Halloween's great, but yeah, I think definitely part of it's the fact it's only one night. Would not want it to last all year, and especially wouldn't want it to last all year if that's because a serial killer is causing it to do that.
Yeah, that would not be a good reason for it to last all year. And if you keep on doing something constantly, is it still special? That's the real question. Are you it loses the magic of it, but especially loses the magic if it's related to murder. I of
Yeah.
course ask because today for our podcast we are talking about Batman, The Long Halloween. That is our long comic for discussion today. For the first half of the episode, we will be talking about Batman, The Long Halloween. This is a graphic novel by Jeff Loeb with art by Tim Sale, and it is something of a classic, I think is
Oh yeah,
how you could argue.
definitely a classic.
But we're going to be talking about this classic book club style with some meaningful discussion, interesting facts, likely from Spence, as well as a recommendation if you haven't yet read the book to decide if it's worth picking up. And then for the second half of the show, we are talking murder mysteries because Batman The Long Halloween is a murder mystery, actually. And so we're going to be talking about some of our other murder mysteries and giving some recommendations if you want to check out some things to scratch your head over and look forward to some thrilling revelations of mystery and murder, also known as a murder mystery. Of course, we will then end the episode with Spence introducing the long comic for the next podcast, which is coming out on May 9th, and it is a manga, as we alternate between the two formats so we get best of both worlds. But of course, at the top of the episode, I always want to give a big thank you to Vesperia Manga and Comics for providing today's long comic, by which I mean thank you, Spence, owner and proprietor of Vesperia, online at VesperiaComics.com, and physically located at 1935 West Broadway in Vancouver, British Columbia. Spence, any updates from the shop?
Yes. So, well, the big one is timing on this. The will be a little. If technically I think this would be the next one I should announce this, but it'll be the day of. Is that it's Free Comic Book Day on the first Saturday in May. So Vancouver Spirit Comics will be taking part, and we have all the shipments have started coming in. We have a whole lot of extra free comic books to give away.
Wow, free comics.
Yes.
Which makes it Free Comic Book Day living up to its name.
Yes. Especially it's even going to be extra weird though because it's both Free Comic Book Day is that day and also Comic Giveaway Day, the same day, same event. So this is the same day. The only difference is one of the distributors owns the rights to the name Free Comic Book Day, so the other main distributor can't use it. They have made their own holiday thing that happens on the same day.
It's just a coincidence they're on the same day.
Yes, definitly a coincidence, and not the fact Diamond
Yeah.
Distribution went out of business, and who used to own the rights to it, and now, yeah, the two ones who have taken over both want to do it, but only one of them going to get the rights for the name.
There you go. So they find a way to make it work. But okay, so the first Saturday in May, that is May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Perfect. Okay, so that is this. If you are listening to this when it comes out on the 25th of April, it is next week, next Saturday on the 2nd. So
Yes.
clear your schedule, clear your calendar. Make sure to swing on by to Vesperia Comics, pick up your free comics and your giveaway comics.
Yeah.
Because nothing is cheaper than free.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to maybe see if there's other content you want to pick up while you're at Vesperia Manga and Comics, you can always, again, swing on over to their website, VesperiaComics.com. And while you're online, why not drop a follow on our Instagram or Blue Sky at Long Comics Book Club for updates, as well as following our show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, any or all of the above, as well as engage, give us a comment, give us a rating. Find ways that you can share your own thoughts and opinions on the podcast itself or on the content that we're discussing today. In fact, today we're going to have a little bit of community shout outs because I asked the community on good old Reddit, everyone's favorite social media platform, on what they thought about Batman The Long Halloween. So we'll share a little bit about Reddit's reflections as well as there was actually some really interesting discussion points that they brought up. So shout out to everyone on the DC Comics subreddit who participated in that post to contribute to today's conversation. So without further ado, let's move into the book club. Let's talk about Batman The Long Halloween. Starting off with Spence, why did we read Batman The Long Halloween for today's long comic?
Well, it's an interesting story. It's a classic, as we mentioned, and also it's like kind of a sequel to Batman Year One. Also, like less of it than I remembered.
Hmm.
So, but like, yeah, I thought it would be interesting to like do a Batman comic that's much more of a classic Batman comic. It's the third Batman story we've done, and this is the one that's the most like classically Batman.
Hmm. And what do you think makes it a classic if you're sort of giving it that specific descriptor?
That's a good. It's just well. It's a very well regarded story. Like it's very well regarded, very well known. Very when people think like Batman story, like quintessential Batman stories, it's often one people go with. And then of course also it must be added there are many parallels to the Dark Knight in this one.
There sure are. Those not familiar, that is Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I did learn that this is also part of a trilogy of
Yes.
Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb collaborating. The other two Batmans being Batman Haunted Knight as well as Batman Dark Victory.
So Haunted Knight's like kind of its own thing, whereas Dark Victory is like a direct sequel to this.
Hmm.
Which is actually kind of interesting because I remember Dark Victory a lot more than I remember this book. So a lot of the stuff I
Ah.
thought happened in this actually happens in Dark Victory.
I also learned, for anyone curious, that Catwoman in Rome is also a direct sequel to this.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Yeah.
hey, it's coming out now that I have some community to back me up, I get to learn other fun facts to throw
Yeah.
out there.
Because the other one is last year they had a like a true sequel called Batman the Last Halloween.
Man, wow. Okay, wait. There's a bunch of spin-offs off of this one. Batman Haunted Knight, Batman Dark Victory,
Haunted
Catwoman
Night
When
also
in
came out.
Rome.
Haunted Night came out before. Was the first one.
Oh, it came out before
Yeah,
it.
so it was like so it was the creative team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was the same creative team doing their own Batman thing, which I guess got them the job to make this one. And then Dark Victory is a direct sequel, and Catman when
Mm,
Rome, and then also the last Halloween.
interesting. So then for you, I would ask, why this one did you want to do instead of Haunted Night?
Okay, well, Haunted Knight's like I said, Haunted Knight's like kind of its own thing.
Right.
So it's not it's like the same creative team. It's just I don't think I ever read it in its entirely. I just remember reading a bunch of like the individual comic issues back when I was a kid. And yeah, they're just like a bunch of like
Oh,
kind of
it's
like
not one solid storyline.
yeah,
It's a collection
exactly.
of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes more sense. Okay. So, for those who haven't read The Long Halloween, to give the plot synopsis on the back of this book, a costume hero learning he can trust no one, a serial killer using the holidays to mark his handiwork, a crime lord trying to hold onto a crumbling empire, a city beset by gangsters becoming a haven for freaks, an honest district attorney hiding a terrible secret, a dark woman tempting the Dark Knight detective, and a friendship that would be shattered forever. These are the pieces of the murder mystery, The Long Halloween. Which, I mean, is all technically true. Does
Yeah.
help keep it very vague. But essentially, there's a serial killer called Holiday who murders on the holidays, and Batman, the district attorney, Harvey Dent, and Jim Gordon are trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
your book.
And like Batman Year One, the story takes place over an entire year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
as we
spans a
go.
long time period.
Which actually, when
That's
I
for sure.
read this, made me realize like the timing would mean technically this would be Batman Year Three because with the
Okay.
timing works, we have a bunch of stuff before then.
Okay, that's it. Also makes sense now to know that there is Batman Hollow Knight between this and Batman Year One, which we did read previously, just because in this one does have the freaks, as they call them,
Yeah.
who are a number of Batman's litany of supervillains.
Yes, and And they're not introduced with the exception of Two-Face. They're all just already there.
Yeah. So you have Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Mad Hatter, Scarecrow, Solomon Grundy, and the Joker are all featured in this graphic novel. So, um, really interesting to read. I guess I had assumed it was going to be much more similar to Batman Year One,
Mm.
based on our conversation, but I found it to be quite notably different. Um, it's which makes sense because it is a different writer. Yeah, so Batman Year One, written by Frank Miller, and then this is written by Jeff Loeb. Very different voices, which is very interesting to read. And for sure, I missed Frank Miller. I think that Frank Miller is kind of sets the bar unrealistically
Yeah.
high.
Yeah. Well, I like this. It's not Batman Year One.
No, it's not Batman Year One, but that just the voice that was such a powerful part of what we discussed when we talked about Batman Year One is the voice of Jim Gordon as being our primary narrator, and just how incredible it makes that story. It makes it so, I think, real is one of the adjectives I'd used when describing Batman Year One. This doesn't feel real in the same way. This is a very fun book for sure, but as I was reading it, something I was sort of noticing is that the way it's written, it feels like everyone is sort of a caricature of themselves, if that makes sense. Especially when you have like the mobsters sound like what you would expect a mobster to sound like. The goofy Mad Hatter sounds like what the Mad Hatter would sound like. It almost seems like they're stage play actors of themselves, if that makes sense. It's a tricky thing to try and describe. So this is something that Jim Gordon said that I think sort of captures it. St. Patrick's Day, we all think of green. Now it's red, blood red. St. Patrick's Day is coming and we're no closer to finding out who this madman is. Holiday. I was like, yeah. So if you said, give me grizzled detective stereotype text,
Yeah.
like, you think of green, but now it's red, blood red. I'm like, oof.
Yeah. Borderline like film noir parody, that one.
Yeah, very much so. Same with the gangsters as well. But it's yeah, quite the story. It is a year long. Covers a long period of time. And so lots of things I'm certainly thinking about. Long Halloween. How do you like that as a title? Does that make sense to you? Does it resonate to you?
I
Is
think
it?
I really like the title actually. I think it works really well. Like it's a little flowery, a little metaphorical, but it certainly grabs you. It's a good
Mhm.
and it fits the title. Like it's given reason to exist, so I think I can't
Yeah.
complain too much.
It's a bit of a stretch, but I get what they're going for. The idea is that the Halloween is horror. It is something haunting, and therefore there is this ominous serial killer on the loose, haunting for the entire year. Therefore, it's a long Halloween. It's a bit of a stretch, but hey, we'll take it. We'll accept it. We'll go with it. Um, and so, reading this back again, just talking about some initial impacts, it sounds like you really enjoyed this.
Yeah, yeah. I very much enjoyed it. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I guess I thought I would like it more than I did. I still
yeah,
thought it was good, for sure. I think part of it again just has to do with the expectations I had from Batman Year One, which again is not fair. However, what I think the reason that you want to pick this up and jumping into talking about the art, because wow, the art in this is something special.
oh yeah,
Uh, I was just essentially, you can flip to any page and there will be a panel there that I would want to have as a poster. The art is stunning in this. It's so great. It's when you're mentioning film noir, it's very evocative of that, but the action and the shading and the Oh,
So
just the framing, the facial expressions. There's so many things in
yeah,
this.
I love the look of Joker when he's just like 90% mouth.
Yeah, I
Just
love the way that's done. Everything in this is incredibly done art wise. All of the murder scenes where you have them in black and white, and then you have the object related to the holiday being the only thing that's in color.
yeah, and yeah, no, and there's never any sound in any of them. It's always yeah, it's straight up like a yeah cut to whatever in a film noir film. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the art in this is incredible. If I was to say there's a reason to pick this, it's the art.
That's like a very valid thing too. It's
Yeah.
like comic books are a visual medium. So like if you think
Mhm.
something has the best art, that's like as valid as it being the best like written.
Yeah, for sure. It carries a lot of importance for sure. Because again, I mean, I think out of necessity, we just compare a lot to Batman Year One, but uh, Batman Year One also had incredible art. The art by David Mazzucchelli in that was so incredible as well. Again, a lot of about the film noir, and so I think that this still matches it. I think what Tim Sale does in this is incredible, and I love the way all of the supervillains are shown. Joker for sure being the highlight with the massive grin.
Yeah. But
It's
then
so
all
great.
of them have like an individual thing, like how Poison Ivy's like all just like
Oh, the green hair is just huge.
green. Yeah, it's just huge green hair and
Yeah, Catwoman is uh very sensual, sleek.
yeah,
Um and yeah, Scarecrow being very
yeah,
spiky, long face.
yeah, literally, yeah, like thin but like
Mhm.
distorted. It's yeah,
Yeah, and of course, our introduction of Two-Face, who, I mean, getting into, we'll talk about spoilers, of course, but is our Harvey Dent, our district
yeah.
attorney,
Well,
being
it's saying
slashed by
Harvey Dent's Two
acid.
Face even. Spoiler. Let's be real
Yeah.
here.
Hey, if you've never picked up a Batman, the big news, big info. Uh, Harvey Dent used to be the district attorney that he got acid splashed in his face, and he went mad and became Two Face. And we see the acid splashing in this graphic novel, which I
That's
don't think I've actually seen before, other than in the movie. So that was interesting to see it in comic form. Um, and see.
yeah, and this is the one that they normally go with for like comic books and stuff. With like the
Mm,
during a court case,
mhm.
yeah, guy throws like his cold medicine or whatever in his face. I even think this is yeah for the third Batman movie, the one with Val Kilmer. Um,
Hmm.
which is that one? Batman whatever. That one, that they straight up just had this scene with Batman
Earlier.
Forever. That's what it's called. Okay, yeah,
There you go. So in Batman Forever. But you did mention The Dark Knight. So there is a lot of pieces in this that we then see in The Dark Knight. Things such as the money being set on fire
yep.
in the
Except
warehouse.
Batman's the one that does this. It
Batman
does
does
it in
it.
this
Yeah,
one.
did not expect that. That was a super interesting reversal to see that Batman does it in this, but in the movie it's Joker, and that it's part of his insanity is that he does that. So I'm like, well, that's kind of an interesting critique of Batman in this.
Yeah, but
uh,
also like the three of them making a vow to uh on a rooftop make Jim Gordon, Batman, and Harvey Dent all making a vow to take down the mob.
yeah,
Straight up done again in yeah, in The Dark Knight.
yeah, and then another one is also the dangling of the person off of a rooftop, and they say, "Let me go,"
Oh yeah.
and then he lets him go to his death. But it's yeah, that is also done in the Dark Knight as well.
Yeah, of course Batman saves him in The Dark Knight, but
Yeah, not in this one. This one, our guy's not so lucky.
yeah.
Uh,
And then also like the kind of a theme into this is that the change from the mob bosses to the freaks are taking over.
mhm.
That's definitely part of The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it is. I never really thought about that,
Yeah.
but I would like to watch the Dark Knight again. It's been a minute,
Yeah,
and
I'd
hey,
love to watch it for like I don't know 25th time. I've watched that movie so many times.
I have as well. This has been a minute, but yeah. So the plot of this one is really interesting, where you have the holiday killer. who's murdering people on holidays. You have these different supervillains who are cropping up throughout, and then in the end, you learn that the holiday killer was one of the mobsters, the Quiet Son slash Harvey Dent's wife.
Yeah.
So making our way sort of narratively to reaching that end point, just as we go through, because there's a bunch of parts in there. So the first thing is the first supervillain we meet is Solomon Grundy in the sewers. And this is going to become a running thing that I'm sort of wondering about with this one. Very little context given.
Yeah. Which, and to be fair, Solomon Grundy's far and away the most obscure of the villains. So, but yeah.
Yeah, nevertheless, Batman encounters this giant behemoth zombie Frankenstein-esque monster in the sewers. Just as Solomon Grundy born on a Monday.
Yep.
And then he sort of battles him, gets away. But we don't really. He's like, man, that guy's living down there.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like hold on it.
No, it just kind of accepts, like, which I guess part of that, like, yes, there is a zombie living in the Gotham City sewers.
Apparently. And I mean, but then it was also the same because then he gets mind controlled by Poison Ivy. He meets Catwoman and tries to figure out what her deal is, and he just sort of takes it all in stride.
Yeah, which I guess is supposed to be the point that, like, this is a more what Batman's. This isn't new to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beating up Scarecrow is just something he does now.
This is what he does now, which I was surprised at because I didn't realize that Hallowed Night was between this, because I was like, why is he not explaining or like questioning what these people are doing?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's less of a direct sequel than I thought it was.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
There's like a year of time between them where he gets to beat up the Joker.
Where he gets used to dealing with these
Yeah.
freaks, so to speak. Okay. That makes more sense to me. I still thought I would have appreciated a little bit more explanation about who these people were and why Batman was just so nonchalant about what was happening to him. But the fact that he has already encountered these people certainly helps explain that as well. Okay, that alleviates some of my confusion. My favorite of the character introductions, though, obviously the Joker. Obviously the Joker at Christmas being the Grinch.
Yeah, literally stealing their Christmas presents.
Literally stealing their Christmas presents, but leaving the family alone. And then just like running across the lawn carrying a big bag of presents. Because it's very comical and I think a great show of Joker's just like nuts.
Yeah. Well, I think, the Joker's the best when he's like insanely threatening, but also like he might let you go because it's funny to let you live.
Yeah.
Like he's completely going his own way. He's like pure evil, but he has his priorities.
Yeah. of just having fun, being a jokester, being a Joker. Exactly.
Even if he's the only one laughing.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I was laughing with him at that one because it's pretty great having him as the Grinch. If anything, the true villain of the Christmas holiday, Harvey Dent, buying a house without telling his wife.
No, yeah.
Is an unhinged act to do. Because he definitely spends all of their money to do this. Just like
his wife's literally in the hospital while he's doing it.
Yeah. He's like, hey babe, I just bought us a house. It's like, wow, Harvey, that's a big swing. But hey, you do you. How did Gilda get in the hospital? Oh, from when
the other explosion
exploded. That would do it. Yeah. That tracks. So then you sort of have them making their way forward. You have people getting murdered, wondering who did it. Harvey not really changing his character. This is something I found very interesting. Did you see character changes with any of our characters that were given? Did you see any sort of development or growth or transformation with any of these characters?
Well, Harvey, obviously.
Well, other than Harvey at the end, but I guess you actually do see Harvey changing.
Yeah, Harvey clearly is getting like, much more as the story goes on. He's getting He's
Do
starting to
whatever it
lose.
takes.
He's losing it a little bit more and more before the final thing that finally pushes him over the edge.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but Batman's very static, as Batman tends to be.
Hmm.
Jim Gordon's a little like I wouldn't call him like static. Feels a little mean, but he mostly stays the same.
Yeah.
He grows a little bit with like same thing of like
Hmm.
this town really beating me down.
Yeah. Grizzle again, very much evocative of the grizzled detective stereotype. I think that's a missed opportunity. I think this could have been done in Harvey Dent as the main narrator in the same way that
Mm.
the last one was done as Jim Gordon being the main narrator. And that was so powerful because you saw the way that Gordon changes and he gains this distrust and this disdain for Gotham. And the way it sort of like warps him by the end of Batman Year One. And you could have even had that to like the nth degree in this one, and you still do get it, but I think that it just was missing that narrative voice of being one primary person we could stick with. Because for sure Harvey Dent's the most interesting in this, with what he's up against and going through. And they do a really good job. You're right of showing his development and growth. It just yeah, Batman Batman
Yeah.
just
Well, I think
Batman.
it's Batman for you. Like how can Batman grow when he's already the perfect specimen of a human being?
Apparently. Yeah. Questionable. Perfect specimen of a human being. Sharp cut to him crying and going ballistic over the loss of his parents.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, fair play. Poor guy.
Oh yeah. Well, and once again, Batman's always best when he is a little. You're not even a little crazy. When Batman's nuts and he knows he's nuts. So
Mm, mhm. Which is only again very briefly in this, and it is as a result of Scarecrow's poison gas or poison ivy's mind control. Yeah, Batman kind of goes through it in this one. Something I was surprised at is that there isn't really an increasing of stakes in this. You sort of have holiday murders, and then you just sort of expect. Then it's just every holiday he murders someone else. We aren't like increasing stakes.
that is an interesting point. Like the highest stakes point is when the Joker is going to randomly, like a
Destroy
third of
the
the, yeah, a third of the way through the
whittle the
story, Joker's
population.
gonna, yeah, Joker gas the city, and that's the highest stakes moment.
Yeah, and it very much comes randomly out of the blue.
Yeah, but
Uh, and
Joker,
then
Oh, that lovable scam Joker being
yeah,
Joker.
which was really interesting. Essentially, him saying, "I don't want the attention to be off me, so I'm going to murder a massive amount of the population because I'll probably kill Holiday." It's like, yeesh. All right, Joker, this is a very sharp turn from your lovable scamp Grinch act that you had a little while ago. But I think that is one of those things that is holding it back as well is that you need that increasing of tension of stakes of Holiday building up towards something instead of it sort of just being Holiday just keeps murdering for the sake of murdering.
Yeah, there's kind
um
of a thing going with like the mob, like the mob's getting pushed harder and harder, and like will they blow? But that never really goes anywhere.
yeah, it doesn't really reach that point. um I think it is just it's trying to do a lot between having all of the villains and all of the mobsters. Which I think it's cool having that dynamic, especially when they start hiring the villains. But I think it just means you have a large cast of characters that you're trying to sort of juggle in between. But I mean, there's a lot of great characters in there. I just started getting really confused by all the crime family stuff because it's the Roman is also the Falcone family.
Roman is Falcone's nickname, and yes, you were right. That was again they switched between. So his name is like first name Roman Falcone.
Yeah,
So I get what they're doing, but yeah, it becomes a little harder to follow at some certain
yeah.
points.
So like, do we have to keep doing this? I understand it's the Maronis and the Falcones, but
Yeah.
again, yeah, I guess tricky to follow. But yeah, then in the end, when we're looking at plot, we learn that Alberto Falcone,
Yes.
who was we thought murdered as one of
Yes.
the New Year's Eve murder.
A very and then there were one twist right there.
Yeah. But it was in fact Alberto was Holiday, and he was doing it for his father's recognition.
Yeah, but also I think once again it was pointing he realized where the tides of Gotham were turning. And he realized that was the new place for like being a criminal now. It's not about the mob, it's about being a freak.
Hmm.
That's how I always took it as like why he kind of
Oh,
snapped from that was him
right. He's sort of
realizing
like,
that the tide had changed and try deciding to join the other side.
we can't just be mob member. I can't just be
Exactly.
a Falcone. I need to have a supervillain name.
Yeah. I need to go. I need to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that interpretation a lot. I think that adds a lot of depth to what he's trying to do. Okay. I buy that. I think that adds a lot more fullness to his reveal than I think was present. Uh, it felt sort of more like a haha, tricked you kind of moment than
Yeah.
like a satisfying one. But I like that idea a lot that
Yeah.
it's seeing that he needs to become what is becoming the dominant force in Gotham at that point by becoming Holiday. And then he never comes back again.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, his plan didn't work, so
Yeah, sorry, Alberto. Not doesn't quite get there.
I
Um,
bet you. So there's some random comic where Holiday shows up again. This is comic books, but
yeah.
yeah.
So then this is where it gets interesting. Because then we have the argument that there's actually three holiday killers. That we learn in the last few pages that Gilda was the one that did the first three murders.
Yeah.
And we also know that Harvey Dent, aka when he's become Two Face, kills the Falcone head, the Roman, therefore ending the long Halloween. And so
Yeah.
technically he's the third. Do
But also
you
technically not. So I think that part about Two Face that's just Batman trying to make it make sense
mm,
because um if you count the Carmine Falcone that would be doubling up on Halloween because the first murder happens on Halloween.
mm,
So you could just not count that as part of it, and then that goes back to the whole two holidays, just Harvey Dent's wife and son Falcone,
yeah, Alberto.
Alberto. Yeah,
Okay. I think that makes more sense. Yeah. That Batman's just trying to be clever and it's like, nah, Batman. This two-faced murder is something else entirely. That's not so that's not part of our conversation yet. So when it's just between the other two. So Alberto, I like that. I buy that. Gilda, Harvey
yeah. So
Dent's
it's
wife, revealed literally in the last few panels after you think that you're done,
yeah,
confesses to Harvey who's not there
yeah.
in a
Well, it's
monologue.
yeah. Her monologuing while burning the stuff and then leaving Gotham.
Yeah. Uh thoughts. How did you feel about it? How
So
did
the
you
funniest
take
part,
it?
I legitimately forgot this happened.
Oh, okay,
So it was
interesting.
like, oh, right, because once again, my thing I mentioned about I remember Dark Victory a lot better. I
Mhm.
remembered it was the sun from the get go, so I was like trying to pay
Yeah.
attention at the early parts to like see um like little clues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I 100% did not remember this part at all. And I was like, oh, it's feels a little like like it doesn't really feel like it was like built up that well, but it like kind of works.
Interesting. So you think it does work? Because I'm on the
Eh.
side of I don't think it works. I don't. The logic of it doesn't track for me. The Gilda did the first three. Then she's like, "Oh, Harvey's probably going to keep doing it now at this point,
Well,
so I can
I
probably
think the
stop."
implication was that the like a murder happened without her. No, well, okay,
Her
maybe
doing it.
I that like the murder happened and she's like assumed Harvey was taking over already.
Yes, that is what she said, and
Yeah,
I'm like, but then also, why did it? I think it also just makes Alberto a
yeah.
weaker holiday because like, why is Alberto doing it all of a sudden? He's like, well, this person almost murdered me. I should just start doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
which I mean, I guess makes sense if you're trying to pin it on someone else, but he's not trying to pin it on someone else. He's trying to
Yeah, well,
get up
because
his
but
own.
also she never almost killed Alberto, right? Like Alberto did it to himself to fake his death to then, isn't that? Okay, this is where maybe it didn't work so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she was never on
The
the um she was never on the boat.
Alberto, wasn't he?
No, Alberto was on the boat.
Yeah, Gilda
Miss Harvey
wasn't.
Gilda was
Oh,
never on the boat.
right. So Alberto did do it.
Yeah, Alberto faked his death.
Oh, so then that was when she's like, oh, Harvey must have
Yeah.
killed Alberto.
Yes.
Therefore, Harvey's now doing it, even though it was Alberto faked his own death and then became Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're doing some hoop jumping if you haven't caught on yet. It felt very weird at the end because
That's fair.
it felt like you had your fake conclusion and then you sort of throw in, especially that it's a monologue, is brutal. That she's sort of monologuing to no one. Because I think it's especially when you're becoming a murderer and your reasoning is that because you want your husband to not have as much work by destroying the crime family is uh, obviously unhinged.
Yes.
But
But yeah, I get the idea was supposed to be if in her like mind in her fractured mind, the idea is Harvey's not here because of the crime because of the mob. If we get rid of the mob, Harvey will be here.
mhm. And just never mind the fact that there's another mob, and now Harvey will have
Yeah.
to try and solve the murders that you're committing.
Yes. Well, hey, what an entire point of Batman comics and the Punisher and all that. That no matter what you do, crime finds
Hmm.
a way.
Yeah, Gilda really didn't think this one through. The something I did appreciate from a Reddit comment, shout out to Doctor Doom 85, was pointing out that the silencer used in the murders is a baby bottle nipple,
Yeah.
and that part of Gilda's thing was wanting to have a child with Harvey, and so that sort of alludes to it, which I thought was a really interesting hint that I
Yes.
fully didn't realize until Doctor Doom pointed that out. So I appreciated that little nod, and I don't know, maybe there's some other really, really subtle nods, but still, I didn't love that solved the murder mystery. I think just Alberto was fine, but nevertheless, this is what we got. We got Gilda being thrown in there, just a really weird way to end it. But again, Tim Sale really selling it with the visual of her throwing in things into the fire, and her face looks crazy at the end because of the shadowing that he's casting on her. So, shout out again
Yeah.
to Tim Sale.
Art's great.
Our art, yeah, cannot emphasize that enough. It's just so good. Um, but the other thing I want to touch on, so Harvey Dent, we mentioned his character being the main arc, the main developmental, main character development that we see. Two Face is really interesting as a villain. You said that you really like Two Face as a villain, just even outside of this.
Yeah.
What do you sort of see? What is Two Face's shtick? He's a crime boss, right? He's super charismatic.
Yeah. Well, I think the Two Face is this interesting because he's like, first off, I think his most interesting characteristic is he's like a living proof of Batman failing because
Elaborate.
it's like a classic story. This has been shows up in Batman Year One and all that. That like Harvey Dent was like one of Batman's first actual allies,
Mhm.
and Two Face is like him Batman failing to have this guy fall down and then become one of Batman's greatest villains. I think the whole like coin flip being with chance and all that, I think that gets overdone a little bit, but I do think it's kind of interesting. Like
Mhm.
the idea of him flipping a coin, like often making very important choices on a flip of a coin. I think that's like a nice little fun little narrative thing.
Yeah. I I really do like that narrative element. I guess what I more was surprised
Also,
at.
he looks amazing. I think I guess actually this should be a good point. He's one of the best looking characters. Like, what
Mhm.
an amazing like one half of his face just gone, and it's the
Yeah, just
amazing things
muscle
they can
and
do.
sinew and
Yeah.
tissue. Yeah,
So many great depictions of yeah.
very much so. That horrific presentation of him. I guess what I was surprised is the way this was set up. It more made him seem like he was going to be a vigilante that was using chance as a way to determine if he murders the criminals that he wasn't able to hold accountable as a DA. So that's what I thought when I read through this. I was like, why don't they do that with Two Face? Two
Oh,
Face is,
that's they did that for the Batman the Dark Knight.
yes. I forgot about that. Okay, well, that does make it. I like that more than him as a crime boss because I feel like the crime boss is the more common angle that's taken with Two Face.
Yeah. Normally, like, yeah, Two-Face, Penguin, and Black Mask are like the three crime bosses in Gotham.
Hmm. Yeah, whereas I like him more as the vigilante. I like him more as a fully referencing something entirely different than this. Jujutsu Kaisen, in a very recent season, for those who also engage in the anime community, has a character that they introduce who is exactly that. He's a lawyer that gets fed up with being unable to prosecute people he knows that are guilty or defend those that he knows that are innocent. And so he starts legit just murdering the people that are guilty. So I like that as more of a you push someone who's intent on justice so far that they feel like they have no choice but to bring it to the ultimate means of justice, which I guess is also the Punisher's thing as well. So,
Yeah, I get well, Punisher never tried to do it legit.
right, he
Punisher
never
just had
really,
his family killed and was like, okay, time to murder.
yeah, time to go psycho. Okay, well, I think that that would have been, yeah, interesting. Maybe I need to read more Two Face related content just to
Good
sort
to
of see
know.
how
Maybe we'll
he's continued to be presented because I like him as a vigilante that has the opportunity to go uh fully off the wall on a coin flip. Yeah,
which
that seems
and to be
interesting.
fair, a lot of great some of the best Two-Face stories are about how he's like not he can be good sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can be good sometimes, occasionally. But yeah, the overall a fun murder mystery, but that it does seem like it's stretched out in ways it probably didn't need to be.
Yeah, it's a long comic. It was like
Yeah,
13 issues, so like
that's why we
that's a
call it a
lot of
long
comic.
comic. Yeah, but yeah, it definitely did not need to be that long. It's just more of an excuse to introduce all these characters and have fun with all these
Yeah.
characters. But that really, what I thought and what was certainly the community agreement on Reddit's DC Comics is that you're reading this for the art. That this is something that the story is fun. It's fine. Again, the writing isn't great at times. It's a little campy, but wow, Tim Sale, holy macaroni. This art is unreal. That I was glad that that was sort of where my head was at, and then I also saw that it seems to be that the community generally agrees that that's the main take on it as well. I also learned that there is an animated version. Have you seen the Batman Long Halloween animated
I have
film?
not, but because that's something DC does for most of their most popular stories.
Hmm.
They create eventually they'll make a yeah an animated one that some of them are good, some of them are pretty bad. I know the Killing Joke one is famously not well regarded.
Oh no. Interesting. I mean, I'd be curious to see it. One of the people was not happy with the film adaptation.
Okay.
Was actually quite angry about it. Uh, Again, this is Doctor Doom because apparently they changed it to be much more heavily into Gilda's backstory,
Oh.
which is interesting because, like we were just talking about, there isn't too much context for Gilda all of a sudden being part of the holiday murders. So interesting to see. Maybe I probably won't want the animated version down the line, but interesting to know that it's out there. If you can't get enough of Long Halloween plot, hey, go check out the animated version. Why not? Why not
Yeah.
check that out as well? But is there any other thoughts you want to throw in with Long Halloween?
I think we covered most of it. Just yeah, it's I guess for my recommendation, I would say yeah, I'd recommend reading it. Art's great,
Yeah,
story's pretty good. Yeah,
it's a classic, as you said.
yes,
I'd still read Batman Year One first.
absolutely.
So,
Batman Year One's still better. Batman Year's One's I think I might have called it like one of the best Batman comics of all time. This
yeah.
isn't that good, but it's still pretty good. It's still very good.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's still pretty good. But again, the art, I cannot emphasize this enough. The art.
Yeah.
Just like underline bold. Period, period. Put a stamp on that one. But moving it talking about murder mysteries. This one being okay. It's an okay murder mystery, but I love a murder mystery, as I imagine many people do. So, Spence, I'm curious if you had to recommend a murder mystery to someone, what's some murder mystery media that
Mystery
you
medium.
want to direct people towards?
Okay, well, so the first one I immediately thought of, which is once again, we're not even leaving the world of comic books, but I've gotten really into reading Detective Conan at the store,
Hmm. I've
which
heard of Detective Conan.
yes. So what Detective Conan is it's like it's manga. It's a long running. Put like three underlines underneath the word long. It's currently
Yeah.
on like volume 99. I think we're volume 100 is coming soon. Um, and it's about a high school detective gets turned into a child. Like a
Uh-huh.
mysterious dark organization turns him into a child, and now he goes around serving mysteries while trying to find the way to get his body back. And the important thing is, he gets turned into a child, and then there's never any forward momentum towards the actual plot. So he just stays a child, and he solves mysteries, and like maybe once every like 4 or 5 years, like um, the bad guy group will like show up, and then nothing will come of that, and he'll just keep going solving more murder mysteries.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
I had one dumb idea I had at one point was to like pick just a random volume. Like let's do like Detective Conan number 67 for this
Okay.
because like why not? They're all like you can start at
Six,
any point.
7. Is that why
Oh
you
god
said
damn it, why did I say 67?
it's infiltrated your mind? But are Detective Conan standalone?
Basically. So it's like as long as the volume like doesn't start in the middle of a different case, you can pick up like any one and it'll
Hmm.
just still stand on its own. So I don't know. Find that funny.
Then maybe we'll get to do a Detective Conan sometime. Well,
And
that's a fun
you would be
recommendation.
down for doing like volume 70 of Detective Conan?
Hey, as long as it's a standalone, I'm open to whatever. Because
Yeah.
I've heard about the anime as well. But okay,
Yeah,
have you
because
seen the anime or just this is just manga reading that you've
this is
done?
just reading manga at the store.
Interesting.
Um, yeah,
There's
the
plenty of it.
anime's law is insane. It's like over 1,000 episodes of the anime.
Yeah. Yeesh. Is it
They've had
actually over 1,000?
yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
I think I heard the thing that like just if you don't count 2020, there's been a new Case Closed movie like every year since 2001 or something like that.
That's wow. Yeah, 1,197. Jeez, Louise.
Yeah,
Okay,
108
interesting.
episodes, 108 volumes in Japanese. I think we're up like 90 something in
And
English.
this is technically called case closed.
So
Okay.
it's Detective Conan apparently wasn't able to be the Conan Doyle estate was being a jerk as they are known to do, and they just decided not worth the effort. So they
Oh, I didn't realize that Detective Conan was inspired by Conan Doyle.
yeah,
Oh,
that's what
those who
that
are not familiar, that is of James Bond writing fame.
that's Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, for those not familiar, that is of Sherlock Holmes writing
Yeah,
fame.
that's why he calls himself Conan as a child, as he's naming
Oh
himself
my
after Conan Doyle.
gosh. No way. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, that's pretty cool. Well, speaking of things that people probably know of, but they may need to be reminded of, the first one I want to give a shout out to is just the most recent Knives Out,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
Dead Man Walking.
all all
Um,
all
or
three
no, it's
Knives Out.
not Dead Man. It's Wake Up Dead Man.
Wake up, dead man. Yeah.
Well, I think the second one was. met with medium review,
I liked it.
which, hey, fair enough, but I don't think a lot of people did.
Yeah, well,
So,
I think the second one, which the interesting thing about Wake Up Dead Man is it is far and away the most conventional murder mystery of the Knives Out movies.
yeah. So if you saw the second one, you're like, I don't know if this is for me anymore, and you didn't watch the third one, I strongly encourage you to watch the third one. Wake Up Dead Man, I would argue, is my favorite of the three.
Yeah, I think it probably is. Yeah,
It's great. It's really good. It's a good classic. What's that called? That kind of murder where it's inside of a closed room.
Locked Room Mystery.
Yeah, or yeah, key lock or whatever it
It's
is.
Locked Room is the typical.
Yeah, so locked room murder mystery. Super fun. Worth checking. I know I'm sure lots of people have already seen it, but if you skipped it, circle back, check it out. Do you have any other murder mysteries you want to throw out there?
The other one I want to talk about, once again, it's an entire series, not individual, but like the Phoenix Wright games.
Oh, hey, that's a fun
Yeah,
recommendation.
those are far and away the best. If you want to play a murder mystery, they are far and away the best ones.
Yeah.
How many of them are there now? There are eight of them now. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, but waiting for another one because the Great Ace Attorney ones finally got English releases like 3 or 4 years ago, but before that, the last one was like in like 2015 or something like that. It's been so long since we had a
Wow.
brand new
Yeah.
yeah, Ace Attorney game.
Yeah. For those not familiar, this is a lawyer game, which
Yes.
is also crime solving, though, and
Yeah. Well,
finding clues and nailing people in the courtroom.
yeah, it's
It's very unique and has a lot of memes that
a
have
lot of
come
memes
from
and
it.
and yeah, incredibly well made, like visual novel, courtroom drama, murder
Mhm.
mysteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good recommendation. And my last one to recommend, which is maybe I mean, I think a lot of people know this, but a lot of people might have forgotten about Veronica Mars. This is a TV series that came out, it must have been in the early 2000s or the 90s. Yeah, 2004. Early 2000s, starring none other than the incredible Kristen Bell when she's young. Um, and it is a high schooler murder mystery. It's this high school girl whose father is a PI, and the girl's best friend gets murdered, and she sets out to figure out who did it. And it absolutely holds up. I've
Wait,
watched this series two or
yeah.
three
Okay,
times.
I've never watched it. Is it one? I thought it was like multiple murders. It's just one murder.
It starts out as one murder. The
Oh,
first season is inspired by one murder.
okay. I assumed it was like, oh, we go to the like a new murder every week kind of thing. But no,
No,
it's
no, no, no.
oh, interesting. I
No,
had no
it's
idea.
which is part of what's so thrilling about it. So when I was talking about missing raising stakes, high raising of stakes on this one. There is obviously it's very clever because it's one of those things where you have your A plot is dealing with whatever that somebody stole a mascot, somebody did something small and benign.
So it's like okay, so it's a mystery every week, but it's like a
Mystery
new.
every week, but your B plot that you are constantly pushing forward is a murder.
Okay,
And
nice.
it deals with a lot of very dark, heavy themes as well in there as well. A lot. It doesn't really pull punches, especially in some of the later seasons. There's some really heavy topics relating like child abuse and sexual abuse and a lot of pretty intense things, but that's handled really well. There's certainly elements of teen drama, as any teen drama cares to do, where you're dealing with the unexpected pregnancy
Yeah, well,
person
like
and
wasn't it literally a CW show?
I think it is.
Actually, was it filmed in Vancouver then? Because most of those are filmed in
It was a
Vancouver.
CW show. Yeah,
Okay.
sure was. But yeah, they also did have some movies come out somewhat recently, which are meh. They're
Yeah,
fine.
well, because wasn't the
They're
movie like the number one thing on Kickstarter at one point?
That would not surprise me
Yeah,
because again, this
yeah,
is one that has a huge fandom.
yeah.
Um,
Like early on in Kickstarter's existence, it was, I believe, it was the number one thing, no, on number one Kickstarter of all time.
Not surprising, but yeah, the early. I think it sort of gets like it's one of those things where in the later season it's just kind of gets bigger and bigger. When you kind of go from a single murder to like an entire bus,
Oh.
Whereas starting on early on, it's great. It's great the whole time, but especially early on. So if you haven't checked out Veronica Mars before, this is your recommendation to just at least check out the first episode. You immediately learn how fast, sharp the writing is. I mean, Kristen Bell always sort of has that charismatic, smart talking personality, but this really plays off it really, really well. But yeah, that's my last murder mystery recommendation is a callback throwback to something from over 20 years ago, which is wild to think about. It's how time changes and keeps on moving on. But as we move towards the end of our episode, of course, we need to introduce what's next on the reading docket. So, Spence, what do the fine folks at home and I get to look forward to reading next?
Okay, we're going to be breaking some of our rules in two different ways. Because the first one is we won't be doing one volume, and we won't be doing the first volume either. So I figured, why don't we skip to the point that will be new to you? And we'll be doing volumes 9, 10, and 11 of Frieren Beyond Journey's End.
Whoa. Okay.
So
Cool.
these are the volumes that'll pick up where the last season of the anime ended, and we'll cover the next arc of the story.
Gasp. Okay. So, Free and Beyond Journey's End, I have watched the anime, but this will be my first time doing the manga. That's exciting. And also be curious to see if it is the kind of thing you can just go into blind.
Yeah, let's see.
We'll see. I'll come at it from that perspective as well. Can you just jump straight into this without sort of knowing the characters previously and some of the events that have to unfold before volumes 8, 9, 10? Cool. Well, I've heard really good things about the manga, so
The manga's really good. The anime is also really, really good. So
sounds great. Excellent. Well, if you are also interested in checking out Freer and Beyond Journey's End, whether that is from Volume 1 or jump in where we're jumping in at with Volume
yeah.
8, 9, 10.
Definitely, if anyone wants to follow us, read the anime. Watch the anime first, at least, because it will be very confusing if you don't do that much.
Oh no. Okay. So this is not a standalone thing if you're
No,
jumping in it.
not at all. This is assuming you have watched the anime.
Okay, interesting. So then if you want to follow along, check out the anime first and then go on over to VesperiaComics.com and order volumes 8, 9, 10 for pickup at Vesperia.
9, 10, 11. Did I say 8, 9, 10? It's 9, 10, 11. But
9, 10, 11. Okay.
yeah, I think I did say that, but whatever.
9, 10, okay, no, all good.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow along, you can order volumes 9, 10, 11 at VesperiaComics.com for pickup of Vesperia manga and comics if you're in the lower mainland of beautiful British Columbia. Or you can also order that for Canada-wide shipping. And so that's it for episode 35 of the Long Comics Book Club. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow the show on your preferred podcast platform so you know when the episode drops, as well as Long Comics Book Club on Blue Sky and Instagram for updates, as well as get in the Discord or drop a comment somewhere, maybe on our YouTube channel, and let us know what you thought about Batman The Long Halloween, Veronica Mars, Ace Attorney, any of the things that we talked about today, or Fear and Beyond Journey's End, whether that is the anime or volumes 9, 10, 11 in advance of the next podcast, which again is going to be coming out on May 9th. And hopefully you'll have a chance to swing by Vesperia Comics on Comic Free Day.
Free comic book day, free comic book day, and comic giveaway day are the 2 days are both happening on May 2nd.
Hey, there you go. So make sure to mark that in your calendar. Swing by, pick up some free comics, and hey, why not pick up some other stuff while you're there? And of course, always make sure to let Spence know that Shane sent you. But we'll look forward to seeing you on the audio streaming platforms again on May 9th. And we will talk to you then. Bye bye.
See ya.